that, because let's be real. On the old WNBA front, this is the most relevant the league is going to be for the next couple of weeks. Because we can be honest, during a couple of weeks, Caitlyn Clark is out injured. Doesn't matter what happens. Does not matter what happens. No one cares.
To a quad.
Forget the official injury report. Caitlyn Clark is off the court because she's been targeted, and the WNBA is trying to hide the truth. The first sign something was seriously wrong came from her own coach, whose uneasy and vague press conference hinted at a cover-up. This isn't just one injury. It's a season-long pattern of cheap shots, constant physical abuse, and a league that won't step up to protect its biggest star. This crisis is so serious, it could bring down the entire WNBA if they don't deal with it now. The story they're not telling you is the one you need to hear.
This groin injury, and how much of an absence do you expect from her beyond today?
Yeah, late last night. I think it's very much a day-to-day thing, how she responds to treatment. I stay in my lane and let our strength and conditioning and our physical, our AT staff do what they do best. But yeah, I found out late last night, and then we'll treat it day to day.
Back-to-back a factor at all with that?
I mean, I don't know if it's a factor from a physical standpoint, from an athletic training standpoint. Certainly in my mind, it is. But at the same time, she's shown that she's tough and she's a quick healer. So
the first sign something was seriously wrong didn't come from a doctor. It came from Caitlyn Clark's own head coach, Stephanie White. When she faced the media, everyone expected a straightforward update. Instead, there was confusion and a shocking admission. White said she didn't learn the full details of Clark's injury until late the night before, even though Clark had already had an MRI earlier that day. In any professional sports team, the head coach is usually one of the first to know how their star player is doing. This kind of disconnect doesn't just suggest poor communication, it raises questions about whether information is being controlled behind the scenes.
Seconds left. How much patience do I need to have before I can start going nuclear? Because I am getting very frustrated with what I am seeing. To everybody that said Caitlyn Clark didn't look like herself, salute to you. For everybody that said Caitlyn Clark might be going through something, salute to you. Clearly, you all saw what that person that stands there like this can't see. We all saw what was going on. Man, something's not right.
We all noticed something was off. When asked about Clark's MRI, the key piece of evidence that could clear things up, Coach White dodged the question, saying, "You'll have to ask our training staff." That's not the confident leadership you'd expect in a situation like this. It sounds more like someone who's either been left out of the loop or told to keep quiet. That brings up a big, worrying question. Why the secrecy? Why would a head coach not be fully informed about the health of her star player? The confusing timeline and vague answers don't feel like a normal injury update. They feel like a cover-up, a deliberate effort to hide the full truth from fans and the media.
She reported yesterday, like, her pain in the left groin.
it had to have been at some point during the day because they took her out yesterday, for the MRI. So I'm not exactly sure. I didn't hear about it until we heard from our training staff last night.
And with the MRI, did it show a strain or anything? Or
I don't.
That strange press conference feels even more suspicious when you look back at Clark's last few games. The media called it a slump, but it wasn't just a cold streak, it was a slow breakdown happening right before our eyes. Check the numbers. She went just 1 for 23 from three-point range over 3 games. That's not the Caitlyn Clark we know, that's a warning sign. Her movements told the real story, the hesitation, shots falling short, and the way her shot lost its usual quickness. An elite athlete's body is like a finely tuned machine. When one part starts to fail, everything else suffers. Her body didn't break down all at once, it was sending signals for help. And the league either didn't notice, or worse, chose to ignore it.
Rushed her back. And within rushing her back, she re-injured that same quad. And then you rushed her back again. And then within rushing her back, she was forced to put pressure and put stress on different areas surrounding that quad. That leads us to our most recent groin injury. I don't need a degree to think for myself. If you've ever been to the gym, you got some chest pain, next thing you know, you got some shoulder pain. Why? Because instead of using your chest muscle to do the exercises, you compensate and start using your shoulder.
That game against Seattle wasn't just an off night. Looking back, it's a big warning sign that everyone ignored. For the first time in her career, Clark had more turnovers than points, something you never see from a player of her talent and focus. That's not about losing confidence. It's her body telling her to stop. She was pushing through one injury after another, hiding pain that only made things worse. The signs were all there, the coughing, sniffles, and tired interviews where she barely seemed able to stand. People brushed it off as a cold, but it wasn't. It was the result of constant wear and tear long before the official groin injury was announced, and if you follow that trail, you find a troubling pattern the WNBA and sports media keep pretending isn't real.
She's dealing with a lot herself, right? Stephanie White. Of course, she's missed, 2 games so far because of personal issues, so I don't necessarily know what her personal issues are. Hopefully it's nothing like DeWanna Bonner's. But nonetheless, she's dealing with some things of her own, so maybe it's a tad bit difficult to keep up with every single thing that happens with her players. And then, of course, she got this news late at night, so I don't know what time this could have been. It was posted early in the morning, so she's probably just now getting into the facility and trying to figure out what's going on with Caitlyn. Let me see the MRI. What happened with the MRI? They probably caught her right before she can.
Let's be clear, this isn't just tough play or a rookie getting tested. It's a focused, intentional effort, and the numbers don't lie. This season, Caitlyn Clark has been the target of 17% of all flagrant fouls in the entire WNBA. Think about that. Out of 144 players, almost 1 in 5 flagrant fouls is aimed at her. This isn't by chance or bad luck. It's a clear sign that teams have singled her out and are pushing the limits, daring the league to step in. This isn't just hard basketball, it's a planned attack that everyone can see, but no one's stopping.
When she says you have to ask our training staff, are any of us really going to get the opportunity to actually talk to a training staff member? I don't think that actually is going to happen. So like what Stephanie White is doing right there is basically saying, I can't tell you, even if I could tell you, it's not going to be announced through me. It's going to be announced just how they announce everything else. They're going to announce it through a press conference. They're going to announce it through a press release, a tweet with the information. These organizations are very private, especially with, the injury information, because people go.
The proof isn't just in the numbers, it's all caught on video for everyone to see. We've seen Kennedy Carter hit Caitlyn Clark with a blindside body check, a cheap shot away from the ball with no place in the game. The Chicago Sky made targeting Clark part of their game plan, with Angel Reese celebrating a hard foul like she'd won a prize, and the worst moment? The Connecticut game, where JCS Sheldon purposely jabbed Clark in the eye. As Clark stumbled, Marina Mabrey pushed her from behind, knocking her to the floor. Each of these moments alone is dirty play. Together, they show a clear, repeated effort to intimidate, hurt, and stop the player who's carrying the league forward. What's most frustrating isn't that these things happened, it's how little the league did in response.
Caitlyn Clark does not need to play another game until she's completely 100% healthy. If that means she has to miss multiple weeks, so be it, because you don't want to get into the habit of her rushing back from injuries when she's not fully healthy, and we know if one nagging injury can lead to another nagging injury. So the best thing that the Indiana Fever can do, regardless of what Caitlyn Clark wants to do, you have to protect your star, your superstar, because she's going to want to get on the court. But until she's 100% healthy, she does not need to play another basketball game.
Despite this clear and dangerous targeting, the WNBA's reaction has been weak. When Marina Mabrey delivered a hard body check to an already hurt player, she wasn't ejected or suspended. Instead, she got a technical foul that was later upgraded to a flagrant, and the biggest penalty was a small fine. No suspension. No missed games. No real consequences. For a professional athlete, that's barely a punishment, more like a small cost of doing business. The message this sends to everyone? If you want to throw cheap shots at Caitlyn Clark, go ahead. It's almost free to do so.
Real talk, a lot of y'all records she coming from. She coming for him. At the end of the day, y'all can't stop nothing, bro. Y'all trying to beat her up and bruise her up and take her out the game and injure her, bro. We know what the motive is, dog. Like, don't nobody like that. I don't vouch for that. I don't like that. You hear me? Y'all not leading. Look, y'all need to get that out y'all heart. Cause that's some deep demonic stuff. The way y'all thinking and how y'all moving and having y'all little meetings and all of that and wanna plot against this woman and her teammates that have her back. Y'all better leave her.
The league's failure to protect its biggest star is nothing short of careless. By not handing out serious suspensions, the WNBA has basically given a green light for more cheap shots. Caitlyn Clark has become a constant target, and her attackers know they can get away with it.in every major sports league, whether it's the NBA, NFL, or others. There are unspoken rules and real punishments when someone goes after a superstar. It's not about favoritism, it's just smart business. But the WNBA seems more focused on keeping jealous veterans happy than protecting its future stars. Meanwhile, the fans, who watch it all, are losing patience.
Finding out this morning that we probably need to hold out again today. It really is a day-to-day thing. And I think for us, making sure that we're prioritizing her long-term health and wellness. It's anybody who's had some of these types of injuries understand that sometimes it's a process. She's a quick healer, and she's been doing everything that she can to get back on the floor. So, we just want to make sure that we're hypersensitive to the big picture.
The fan response has been loud, angry, and united. Social media is overflowing with frustration, with thousands calling for Caitlyn Clark to leave the WNBA altogether. What began as concern has grown into a full-blown backlash. Many are now urging her to head overseas, where she be respected, not targeted. One viral comment captured the mood: "If Caitlyn Clark walks away from the WNBA, I won't blame her. I'll cheer her on. Let the league deal with the fallout." This isn't just a few upset voices, it's a wave of loyal fans who feel completely let down. And now, they're making sure the league hears them.
I'm going to keep saying it. Something is going on. I don't know what it is, man, but that's uncalled for. And we can see it. I don't know if we need to look into the committee, with the higher up players, the veteran players. I don't know what we need to look at, but we need to look somewhere.
This outrage isn't just emotional, it's backed by hard numbers that should alarm everyone in the WNBA's front office. When Caitlyn Clark missed time due to injury, national TV ratings didn't just drop, they plunged by 55%, falling from 1.88 million viewers to just 847,000. Ticket prices for Indiana Fever games also took a major hit, dropping 47%. Here's the harsh reality: the WNBA has never relied on one player as heavily as it relies on Clark. She's driving everything: TV deals, ticket sales, merch, and more. She's the backbone of the league's future. And yet, instead of protecting her, the league's inaction is putting it all at risk. They need her to survive, but they're creating the exact conditions that could push her and her fans away.
Let's look at the WNBA and Caitlyn Clark. Who is set to make WNBA players more money? Is it Angel Reese, the author of the Me Bound? The Me Bound that she's now going to copyright, and she's trying to get all the rights to it so she can glorify the Me Bound? Basically a made-up stat for someone who can't hit layups? No, it's not Angel Reese. Does Angel Reese help add to the legend that is Caitlyn Clark? For sure. Caitlyn Clark is going to print money for the...
While fans are demanding answers, the people who should be holding the league accountable, the mainstream sports media, have stayed strangely silent. The same outlets that rode the Caitlyn Clark wave to record ratings, viral content, and non-stop coverage now have nothing to say about the constant cheap shots she's facing. They'll happily spotlight her jersey sales and the millions she brings to TV broadcasts. But when it comes to the repeated fouls, dirty plays, and physical abuse she endures night after night, silence. No hard-hitting reports, no deep investigations, just a media blackout from an industry that owes much of its recent success to the very player it's now choosing to ignore.
No secret that Caitlyn Clark has been struggling in her shooting since coming back from injury. She had that big game right after the initial leg injury where they played the Liberty, they beat the Liberty. She had 30-something, Sabrina had 30-something. It was a fantastic game. But since then, she has been really struggling from the field. There's been reports of her, maybe having her migraine issues again. There's been reports of her, in interviews, she's been coughing a lot and kind of sniffling, was she sick? And now she is out for tonight's game because of a groin injury. And even in her post-game interview the other night, she said, it felt good coming out of my hands, and then it just wasn't going in. They feel good. They feel like typical Caitlyn Clark shots. She doesn't feel like anything is different, but then they just weren't going in. And then we saw this at the end of the game the other night. Almost looked like it was her leg and ankle again. She gets up.
And mid-court, and
Erica Wheeler comes and helps her. She's doing some stretching. We're like, oh, is it the